All right, happy Sunday to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. It is time to track the tropics, and boy, do we have a monster of a hurricane in the Central Caribbean. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. Of course, we've had 13 named storms so far this season. We had about 3 weeks where it was pretty quiet. We were starting to wonder, would this just be a super slow season? But really, September and for just about all of October, things have been rocking out there in the tropics. And of course, most recently we had Melissa, our most recent named storm, and it has grown from a tropical storm yesterday morning all the way to a deadly, catastrophic, potentially Category 4 hurricane for today. So that is some super rapid intensification. You really just need a tropical system to basically have wind speeds increase at least 35 miles per hour in less than 24 hours. This one has increased about 70 plus miles per hour in the last 24 hours. So this is a very powerful system. That means now that we've had 13 named storms, of course. We've had now 5 hurricanes for the 2025 Atlantic Basin hurricane season. And out of those 5 hurricanes, 4 have been major hurricanes. So next name on the list would be Nestor. Thank goodness, no signs of that developing at this point. So far for this season, as I mentioned, we're getting closer to those average numbers. 13 named storms. We're 1 back from our average of 14. Now 5 hurricanes for this season, just 2 back from our average of 7. And now we have surpassed the Colorado State University prediction of major hurricanes for this season. That was 3, and our average number of major hurricanes is 3. And now we're up to 4. So yes, it has been a busy kind of last leg, if you will, of this hurricane season. All right, let's go ahead and look at this whopper of a hurricane. It has just grown so tremendously over the last several hours, the last 24 hours, like I said, from a kind of ragged tropical storm to a super impressive, almost perfect looking hurricane out there. You can see a very well defined eye wall. It is very symmetrical, and it is getting uncomfortably close to the island of Jamaica. In fact, it's only about 100 miles south of Jamaica right now, and it is just looking super impressive on our satellite radar. And we are going to continue with this potential devastating situation for Jamaica. We do have Hurricane Melissa that grew, as I mentioned, from a tropical storm to a Category 4 hurricane in less than 24 hours. Catastrophic flash flooding and landslides likely for Jamaica and southern Hispaniola through midweek, and maybe up to 13 feet of storm surge east of the center at landfall over Jamaica. So a lot of impact. So folks across Jamaica are trying to kind of hide from the wind, run from that deadly potentially storm surge up to 13 feet, and it's just all sorts of hazards. They're saying that some whole communities could have communication cut off for days due to the fact that this is such a powerful hurricane. So right now, Melissa is a Category 4. That means it's in between 130 to 156 miles per hour, but it's actually forecast to blow up into a Category 5 hurricane. That would be wind gusts closer to 157 miles per hour or greater. So notice our official forecast does have Hurricane Melissa strengthening into a Category 5, and that is as bad as it gets. At this point, it is a little stronger than it was earlier in the day. 145 mile per hour winds, pressure continues to fall, 941 millibars, and it is still moving west at 5 miles per hour, but it is expected to start to take that turn and that jog to the north and roll right over Jamaica over the next 24 to 36 hours. So notice it's still a Cat 4 by 1 a.m. Monday, but by early Tuesday morning, it is forecast by the National Hurricane Center to become a Category 5. That is horrible. At first it looked like Melissa would just kind of skirt by Jamaica, but now it is expected to make a direct landfall and slam right into Jamaica. So to the right of that center, that's where we're expecting that storm surge of 9 to 13 feet. There could be as much as 3 feet of rain for parts of Jamaica over the coming days. And yes, the hurricane force winds will be a huge issue. We're talking about several hours of winds over 100 miles per hour. So this is a potentially catastrophic situation for people that own houses in Jamaica, maybe rental properties, maybe you are planning a cruise or vacationing here, there are certainly going to be some major interruptions to people's lives, and property will likely be damaged as well. Notice that Melissa will make a turn to the northeast and quickly roll over eastern parts of Cuba likely as we go into late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Then it's going to push into the southeastern Bahamas shortly after that, likely by Wednesday afternoon and evening. Then it is going to speed up and head to the northeast, likely getting close to Bermuda by the end of the work week on Friday. This is the latest from the National Hurricane Center with our watches and warnings, and there have been some upgrades to some of these tropical alerts. We did have Cuba, the eastern part of Cuba, under a hurricane watch. That has now been upgraded to a hurricane warning as of this latest 4 p.m. advisory. And all of Jamaica, as you can see, under a hurricane warning. We've got the southwestern portion of Haiti under a tropical storm warning. So a lot of tropical alerts out, and there are likely more to come, maybe some for parts of the Bahamas and later in the week for Bermuda. So I want to show you a close-up view of our Fox Weather tropical model showing Hurricane Melissa very close to Jamaica and likely starting to make landfall early Tuesday morning. This is around 1:15 a.m. and you can see that eye very close to Montego Bay. Now other models have this making landfall a little closer to Kingston, Jamaica, but bottom line, it looks like it is going to be a direct hit for Jamaica late on Monday night into early Tuesday. So if you have friends, family there, make sure that they are preparing and taking this seriously. As we go into the Tuesday evening time frame, 6-7 o'clock, Melissa is likely still a hurricane and pushing over eastern parts of Cuba. So we go now into Wednesday evening, and then we are expecting this to be pushing into parts of the Bahamas Wednesday morning into Wednesday evening, and maybe the Turks and Caicos. So there are going to be a lot of impacts from Melissa as it rolls over these Caribbean islands as we go into the next couple of days. Like I said, by the end of the week, like Thursday and Friday, it likely will get pretty close to Bermuda and could bring some impacts there. So we're closely monitoring Melissa, which is going to be, like I said, catastrophic for Jamaica, but we're also still monitoring what could happen with the tropics closer to us. Do we still have a chance of anything developing? We're still monitoring the Central American gyre. This is the setup that could possibly help to create some tropical waves that could turn into tropical depressions or tropical storms closer to us and maybe push into the Gulf. Right now, we're not seeing any signs that we're going to get anything moving into the Western Caribbean or the Gulf that could impact Houston or the Texas Gulf Coast. Although we do still have very warm water out there, super warm water temps still well into the 80s for much of the Gulf, Western Caribbean, and western portions of the Atlantic. So the chance is low. It is very low for the rest of this month, and even lower for November for tropical development for the Texas Gulf Coast, but it's not zero. So we'll continue to monitor it. Slightly better chance for the Western Atlantic and Northwest Caribbean. 4 formation zones in November. Notice the Gulf, not really a threat for tropical development typically in November, but there's still a very low chance. It's still possible across the Western Atlantic and the Western Caribbean. So we're keeping a close eye on things. We do still have about a month and a few days left in this 2025 hurricane season. Of course, we passed the peak on September 10th. We're going down the roller coaster. Hopefully the activity is winding down, but as long as we are still in hurricane season, there's still a chance. So make sure you keep checking back with us daily, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening out there in the tropics.